Hello Year 4, how are you today? It's Miss Bellis here. I hope you are well. And today we're going to be starting a brand new topic in our maths learning, and it's on geometry or shape. So here's our in focus, and we are looking at these three different triangles. It asks us to look out for acute angles, right angles, and obtuse angles in the triangles. So what is an angle? Lulu tells us that when two straight lines meet, an angle is formed. But what is an acute angle? What is a right angle? How about an obtuse angle? Can you already spot these different angles in the triangles? We have an extra challenge down here. It asks us to draw a quadrilateral or four-sided shape that has all three types of angle. How could we do that? And where could we start? Is it even possible to draw a quadrilateral with these three angles included? So here, Charles is demonstrating what an acute angle is. He says acute angles are less than a right angle and shows us that a right angle is used in the corners of squares. So let's have a look at these angles. I've got a square here, and I can see that if I put it over this angle here, the angle is smaller than a right angle. Let's try this one. And again, I can see that this angle is smaller. It doesn't go all the way up to a right angle. And this triangle has been tilted. If I take this rotated square and put it over, I can see that the angle is acute or smaller than a right angle. Hannah is showing us a right angle, and as we've already seen, a right angle is 90 degrees, the same angle used in the four corners of a square or rectangle. She has said you can use a right angle checker, so let's try it. It fits. It's a right angle. You might also notice that a right angle is marked with a small square. Hannah says you can use a right angle checker, and in this case I'm using a small square. You could use a corner of a piece of paper perhaps, or anything that you know has a square corner. Amira is looking at obtuse angles, and she tells us that obtuse angles are more than a right angle, but less than two right angles. So more than a right angle, but not so big that they're bigger than a straight line. Let's use R square to look at the marked angle in Amira's triangle. Here's my rotated square. And here you can see that the angle is bigger than my right angle, so it is obtuse. So back in the in focus, we were asked to draw a quadrilateral or four-sided shape that included the three angles, acute, right angle, and obtuse. We can see that Emma, Rabbi, and Ruby have had a go. Let's check them. Let's look at Emma's shape. I think we can see straight away that she has a right angle. And if I move my square up, we can see that this angle is definitely smaller than a right angle, so it's acute. And if I move my square here, we can see that this angle is bigger, so it's obtuse. So she has managed to include the three angles. We can look at Ravi's green shape Q down here, and we can see it has two acute angles, smaller than a right angle, one right angle, here's our little square, and one obtuse angle, which is bigger than a right angle. So lastly, we have Ruby's shape, and we can see that she has two right angles, here and here, one acute angle, here, and one obtuse angle, here, that is bigger than a right angle. So they've all managed it. So here is the guided practice. You need to find which angles are acute, so that's smaller than a right angle, which angles are obtuse, which is bigger than a right angle, and also find any right angles. Here's the worksheet, and it's very like the guide to practice. You need to identify the different angles. You colour any acute angles red, right angles blue, and obtuse angles green. And you can see that one of the angles has been done for you. In question 2, you need to draw and label these shapes on the grid. So figure A should have 3 acute angles, B needs 4 right angles, C needs 1 acute angle, 1 obtuse, and 2 right angles, and D needs 1 obtuse angle and 2 acute angles. The answers to this may vary. So here are the answers to question 1. And here are the answers to question 2. As you can see, your shapes may be a bit different to these, and there could be more than one answer. So here's our extra challenge, and it's up to you if you want to do this or not. We've got Ron here. He's looking at these 2 angles, angle A and angle B. And he says angle B is bigger than angle A because it has longer sides. Do you agree with Ron? And can you explain your thinking? Here is the answer to today's extra challenge. And finally, I've included an angles game you might like to have a go at. It says you need a small whiteboard, but you could just use paper. So you and your partner each draw an angle that is less than 2 right angles, so less than a straight line. It could be a right angle, obtuse, or acute angle. You roll the dice and compare your angles. If the dice says 1 to 3, the smaller angle gets a point. If it says 4 to 6, the larger angle gets a point. Maybe you could see who gets to 5 points first. So that's it from me for today. Do keep on sending in your maths learning, and I hope you have a lovely day. I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.